So yeah, just a quick introduction, who you are, where you're from, and what your background is in illustration, art, or anything else that you feel free to add in.
Sure. So my name is Monet Alyssa, and I'm from Buffalo, New York. I'm a recent graduate a year ago from FIT, which is the Fashion Institute of Technology, with my BFA in illustration.
Okay.
Prior to that, I went to like an art school since 5th grade, like a visual performing art school. So, I've been doing art like all my life, like since I was a little kid, since I could literally hold a pencil. And after graduating, I'm just focusing on working, freelancing, that type of thing. Looking into some graphic design jobs, but obviously that's put on pause now.
Right.
Due to COVID. But mostly just, drawing the stuff that I want to draw, put it out there, and, hopefully get repped by an agent, just work on my portfolio.
Okay. So yeah, funny enough, I went to school in Buffalo, and you mentioned going to art school out there, which was my second question, which was like during your primary schooling years, what were the environments like that were nurturing your creative and critical thinking mind? Like being in Buffalo, obviously it's a low key artsy town. I've been out there, so I know the talent that's out there. But
I'm from Buffalo, but I went to school in actually FIT's in Manhattan.
No, I know. Yeah, but you said from 5th grade on you went to art school.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I went to the Buffalo Academy for Visual and Performing Arts from 5th grade to 12th grade, and it was very fine artsy in the respect that like I did everything. I painted, I drew every day too. Like these were once or twice a day I was doing this for years, and it was nurturing in the fact that my teachers were very nurturing and allowed me to express myself in a number of ways with different media, and were very encouraging and helped me get into local art shows, and really drove me to going to art school, showing me that you can make a life out of art,
Right. So, what was the first art show that they ever put you in?
Oh God, so it was 5th or 6th grade. I think I was 12 at the time, and it was an art show held by the Buffalo Public School System, put on at our local library downtown, and each school had to select 2 people from each, public school to be in the competition. And I actually still have the drawing I did. It was a little pen and ink drawing of a little dodo bird.
Right.
And I still have it, and it's actually, looking back on it, it's not that bad. So, it's just fun to see, how you start off with just something fun and then make it like a serious profession. So that's like my first piece that I ever got into a show.
That's cool. And you mentioned that the school itself, it made you realize that you could make like a life out of art. Would you say specifically that was like through the networks they provided you, or like just working with the teachers and seeing what they were able to do? Like, talk to me a little bit about that.
So it was working with the teachers, definitely, because I had teachers who were professional photographers, painters, graphic illustrators. So apart from, being obviously a public school teacher, they were also able to have their freelance work on the side.
Right.
So to me, that was like really cool, because you could, do your art and then have another career on top of that, which I think is really awesome. And, they always brought in like guest speakers and always encouraged us to, explore the art world locally, because we have a really great museum here called the Albright Knox.
Right.
So they put me in a curating program there. Also, I think it was my last year of school, or maybe I was a junior. I can't really remember. But yeah, and they, just gave me all these opportunities to expand my horizons past just doing art in school. And, the working with the Albright Knox in high school really propelled me to apply to go to art school. Like, that was like the final nail in the coffin. That was like, okay, this is a serious thing that I can pursue, and that there's people supporting me. And also, it was a good resume. It was a good resume thing,
Definitely. Well, you mentioned the Albright Knox, and the Curator Program. I don't know if you mind providing a little bit of insight as to what the Curator Program entails, because that's I don't know if it's niche or not, but it's kind of like a private thing. Like, not everybody knows the details of exactly what a curator is able to do and what the specifics of the job are.
Right. Yeah, no, of course. So I applied. It's an application process, and I ended up getting accepted. And basically what it was, the curating program lasted for 2 months. We got to work closely with the 2 curators that worked at the Albright Knots, and their names, I've totally forgotten the names since then, which is terrible, but we got to work with a couple of the curators there. They showed us how to hang a show. So basically what a curator does is, you look at the work, you pick sometimes the work that gets into the show, and then you arrange it on the walls. So, you write the wall text. The wall text being, something that explains the artist and the basics of the work or the work itself. And so it was really an in-depth process of how to basically just put together an actual professional show, which we got to do at the end of the program with everyone from Western New York submitting from different schools, submitting work. And we got to go through the work, pick what got in. We got to pick the overall theme of the show. And we got to, decide where the work came. So we actually ended up curating a show that was shown at the Albright Knox Art Gallery.
Okay. That's pretty dope. And what was that experience like? Was it exciting for you, being able to step back from just judging your own art? I don't know what the Academy was like as far as judging other people's arts and working with one another, working collaboratively. Like, what was it for you to step out and really look at art from a different perspective other than being the creator?
Well, it was really good to be able to come from a place where I am a creator and then to judge other people's work, because you know where this person's coming from. You can, see how much work they put into a piece, see the techniques they use, and doing that with other people in the group as you said, a collaborative process was really informative for my art also, because it helped me grow as an artist. And getting to look at other people's work, I just feel like it's better to come, if you're going to judge other people's work, you should also come from a place of creation. It's a much more informed judgment when you're looking at pieces for a show.
Right. So when you were starting off, where did a lot of your influence come from? Was it via books you read, magazines, TV shows, things of the sort? Like, how'd you really, start developing a style?
So I've always been interested in afro-futurism and afrocentrism. Myself, I'm biracial, and I'm just very visually inclined. I don't know, I'm sure you can relate. I'm a very visual person, so I noticed all the time that, at least when I was in high school, there wasn't a lot of illustrators representing anyone outside of Caucasian work, because those are the people who are working in the field. It's dominated by usually white men, which I just found out in the history of illustration. But anyway, so I think that's an important part for me personally is representation. Afrofuturism was also just such a cool genre for me, and I'm a really big fan of Solange and Sun Ra and stuff like that, and Funkadelic. So there's also a music basis in my work that I'm inspired by poster design, 1960s and 70s psychedelic poster design. Victor Moscato, is one of my favorite poster and graphic designers. So I take a lot of inspiration from the psychedelic era, and that was really my start. And fashion. So those are my main jumping off points, as long as I can remember, since I started really seriously doing work.
Right. So it's mainly deriving from a cultural perspective rather than influencers, icons, things of the sort. From what I gathered. But that's really cool. So when it came to adopting the style of drawing, what were some of the ways that you created it? Was it really a lot of trial and error? Did you kind of always have a clear vision? Just talk to me a little bit about that.
It's hard because I feel like someone's always developing their style. At least in my perspective, and definitely going through college and my last 2 years, I really had a reckoning with, the last 2 years of school, your foundation classes are over, and now you have to work on your own style, which I always put a lot of emphasis on because I thought that was the make or break point for an illustrator is their style. And it put a lot of pressure on me, so then I decided I'm just going to have fun with what I'm doing and do what feels right and not try to adhere to anything of how I should look and how it should look. So it was more of a natural process for me. I feel like with every piece that I do, I'm able to get closer to, it's so hard to explain, but I feel like with every piece that I do, I feel like I'm getting closer to what I really want to do, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because I feel like style for me is an organic process. And the work that I've been putting out in the last year, I feel like is basically work, I guess. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just experimenting and obviously trying to stay within the same visual language, because obviously I still want my work to be recognizable, but not constricting myself to make one type of art,
I understand.
So, yeah, but I always feel like if the genre of the work is there, and obviously, I mean, my color palette's pretty consistent for the most part. So I feel like if I stay in certain constraints that, I'll have no problem and people can recognize my work or my portfolio. So.
Okay. Well, a lot of the colors they use, they're like a lot of darker hues and tones, like very, very purple. So in what way, even though the subject matter may not be kind of like dark, the subject matter can still be upbeat, but you do use like a lot of purple, silver, like you said, very futuristic, kind of dark. So in what way do you use colors to translate, what you're looking to convey? Even though, some people might associate, being purple with being sad, like I said, the subject matter sometimes is still pretty positive.
Right. So it's funny that you bring that up because like when I use color schemes, it's more of like just a natural thing that like, I'm going to use this color to convey this emotion. I mean, sometimes I definitely do that because I want to convey a certain mood. But I just love purple.
Right.
I love purples. I love pink. So it's more coming from a place of colors that I know how to work with really well, and that I feel like I'm just trying to create work that I want to see. Just not even coming from me in general, just work that I find interesting with the color schemes. But I really like pink and red together lately, and I feel like I just did a painting. I don't know if you saw it, but it was of a couple about to kiss. And I feel like, obviously, that piece was about love and intensity and just being in love. So, obviously, pink and red. I used a really saturated pink and red. Right. So, for that piece, I definitely thought about the colors. But in that case, they ended up being colors I'm really into. So,
okay.
Definitely vibrancy. Vibrancy, psychedelic colors, saturated, I'm really into that. Like, I don't really use any, like, earth tones or naturalistic colors at all.
Right. No, completely understandable, and it comes out looking nice. I didn't see the piece that you mentioned just now, but, I've seen a lot of your other stuff, just from a lot of study. So, what's your experience like showing your work to a broader public outside of that first show that you did? And it doesn't have to be like a gallery or anything like that, as far as like whether you're shopping it to prospective clients for graphic design or even just showing it off to friends. How have you built up the ways that you communicate your work to them as an outsider and things of the sort?
So what's really nice about having my work on Instagram is that I usually don't have to explain my work as in depth as, for instance, I'm doing now. So it's like more of a visual thing for a lot of people, and I work with a lot of, like local artists and stuff, like musicians, like mostly rappers. So when they see my work, they're like, "Oh man, that's really dope." They're like, "Can you, do this concept for me?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So really, the verbal part comes after there's already an agreement that I'll take on the job, just because they see my stuff online and that they really like it, so they just, I don't know, go decide down the artist that's going to do the work. And then from there on, it's more of a verbal process of, like color scheme, composition, stuff like that.
Right.
But initially, like when I talk to my friends, like, because I still keep in contact with, I'm back in Buffalo now, so a lot of my friends are super in New York City, and they're illustrators, also trying to fill out the water, and I hit them up all the time. They hit me up to talk about pieces that we're working on, to like, does this look okay? Like,
right.
Which is super helpful because it keeps me grounded. And sometimes if I stare at a piece for too long, like, I lose all ability to look at it from an outsider's perspective and be like, oh, this needs to be changed, this needs to be changed. So with my friends, they definitely, really help me in my progress as an artist to make sure I'm not repetitive or boring or what have you, so.
Yeah.
And usually that's the most helpful thing lately, especially, being in quarantine and everything and not seeing anyone, being able to hit up friends and talk about art is like, awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely. The support system, it's everything. So
yeah. I hope I'm answering your question, sir.
No, you're definitely doing it right. You're definitely doing it right. I just have my questions, and I'm just trying to keep a fresh blend of when to interject with something new and when to stick to my script. Because I was really just thinking about the sense of community that there is in Buffalo, because I went to Buffalo State, so I definitely, I've been to the Albright Knox, and I understand the sense of community that goes on in Buffalo. When somebody opens up a new shop out there, everybody goes to that store, whether it was Pro Sale Vintage when it first opened up, or my cousin Vinny. But I guess I want to keep it to my script a little bit here. So when you're starting a new piece, what are like some values of do you have any values of like a frame of mind that you try to keep when you start a new piece, as far as I don't want this piece to be like the last one or anything like that? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Definitely. The way I approach each piece is I try to make it better than the last one, like building off of the way I draw a flower, or the color scheme that turned out just right. I try to take the elements from past pieces and make a better piece. And also with some experimentation, if I want to use new patterns that I see online, or what have you, or a different mood, or any type of thing like that. But my process is, I see something that I like, or a concept usually, and then I start my sketch process, and it's an organic thing from there. I don't do a bunch of color comps, which is like the proper thing to do in illustration. You do 3 sketches. You put different colors in all of them. Like, I don't do any of that. I just try to feel it out. And, I work kind of, I don't really work linearly. Like, if I start a piece, I obviously start with a sketch. I go in with some color, my line work, and all that. And then if I decide I don't like it, I just totally scrap it, still stay on the same piece, but then, rework it to what I want it to be, which could be avoided in the sketch process, but I just totally skip it entirely and go right into the final piece.
Right. Okay. Makes a bunch of sense. Now, outside of maybe thinking about what could fit into a gallery, what are some different mediums that you've considered or even utilized already to this point, as far as either making the art, using it with other people, communicating it to other people, things like that?
You mean like what different media have I thought about using other than just drawing?
Yeah, what media have you used? Have you ever considered, other places to do it on? Like maybe starting web courses, doing things like that. Like, it's like questions like generally speaking, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely, because I feel like drawing could be applicable to so many surfaces and so many, like, even like 3D and like sculpture.
Right.
So most recently, let me think what I did. I did something I forgot and I thought was really cool. Oh, screen printing.
Okay.
I would love to do screen printing, like to get my own screen, burn my image onto it, and that's something I'm very interested in doing. And also photo transfer onto big surfaces would be awesome. Obviously painting, like I love to paint. Most of my illustrative work isn't painted, but painting definitely. I've done some work on wood before, so I really like wood and the texture that gives you. It's really naturalistic feel, and I did that. I'm trying to think what else. Mainly lately what I've been thinking about, though, doing is photo transfer and screen printing. That's something that I feel like my work would translate well into, and I've just always loved T-shirts, and I have a lot of friends that are printmakers, and I think their work is absolutely beautiful. And if I had access to like a screen printing station or a printmaking station, I think I would have so much fun, getting my work into that.
Yeah, no, I've definitely like seen the people while they do screen prints and things like that. It's definitely a sight to see, and it's fairly easy to pick up on. But obviously, it's just about the equipment getting it. That's the biggest hassle of it.
Right, exactly. I did some screen printing years ago, and it was in an actual like screen printing studio though, and so we had like a huge iron press, and it was amazing. So hopefully after this is done, I can get in contact with some studio that has it and get started on that.
I'm sure it'll work out for sure. So is there anything that you constantly remind yourself throughout your journey, that you kind of keep in the back of your mind, to keep you grounded, motivated, anything like that, or even as you try new endeavors as far as screen printing, everything doesn't go together right away. So what are some things that you kind of remind yourself, or that you keep in the back of your mind?
So a lot of the times, like, it's hard to be, like, after being in school for so long, you always had every day going to, my mentors, my teachers, my classmates, and so this was a constant encouragement to make work and to make better work and to experiment, and you always had somebody in your ear saying, oh, that sucks, so that's great, and like, keep doing this or don't do that. So there was a structure there that really helped me thrive, and being pulled out of that, totally pulled out of New York City, put back in Buffalo, which is kind of like an isolation, definitely now, but even prior to this, Buffalo, you've been here before, it's pretty small.
Yeah.
Being taken out of that nurturing environment and being thrown into the world as any college student, was kind of jarring. So for a while, I kind of like lost myself in just the mundane and just, waking up, going to work, and I work at Panera, so it's nothing artistic, keeping me grounded in the art world. So it's like, that was the biggest moment where I had to come to terms with, okay, I really got to buckle down and be serious about my art and draw every day and get a piece out there every month or, twice a month, whatever. And I have to, send my stuff to agents and make sure that my social media presence is good. And from a business standpoint, so in the back of my mind for the last year, it's been be productive and put work out there. That's like my main, like, not even good work. And that's like shitty to say, but just as I feel like the internet plays such an important role in the art world now. That,
right,
like,
you're kind of like competing against algorithms. Sorry to cut you off.
Exactly. So it's like, as long as I'm putting stuff out there, I'm active. Even if I don't think it's good, there's other people who are going to think it's good. But I'm like super critical about like my stuff. So I'm, you're your harshest critic. That's me. So it's like, I don't try to put out just work that I just throw together in an afternoon. I take a long time to work on most of my stuff, and then I'll throw it up and get a lot of love for it. So, which is also feeds into like the positive feedback loop that you could get in a place like college. So definitely Instagram can be helpful, even if you don't know these people. It's still kind of weird because it's like, oh, well, like, thanks. I guess I'm not, crap. So
right.
Doing something right, but that's the main thing, is just trying to stay productive, try to stay hopeful, because definitely, like, in illustration, it takes people, like, all my professors always told me, it took me 3 to 5 years to get, an agent and to get my first big-time job,
Right.
And that's, if you think about it, like, that's a long time to stay dedicated to something without getting totally, like, negative about it.
Yeah, 100%.
And so, because then you just start to think, maybe this isn't for me, or maybe I suck, or, I don't have time to wait around for this. But for me, it's like I've been doing this drawing and art for so long. It's like I don't see myself doing anything else, and I genuinely, like, enjoy it. It's my passion, so it's worth it. But definitely, like, on the inside, I'm always like, oh, God, like, I hope I'm good enough. But really, it's hard work.
It's just about consistency, hard work, dedication.
Exactly. So it's worth it. It's worth it. I just have to stay positive, Most artists don't want to, at least the people that run in my circle, we start to get a little discouraged.
Yeah.
But, I graduated a year ago. There's not a lot I can expect, so.
No, it happens to the best. Everybody goes through it, but like we both said, it's about hard work, dedication, stay consistent. But you seem like very conscious of the business side of things as well, as far as picking up an agent, the way to shop things, and a lot of other artists that I've spoken to. Not to say that I don't know if they're specifically against it, but they definitely weren't like as cognizant of it as you are. Like their business connections kind of just came about a different way. Do you think that you have that mentality because of the formal education that you have, or like did you just build up a business acumen in a different way?
Oh, I definitely, like, school definitely helped kick my ass into a business mold, like a marketing kind of, here is a strategic way in how to get your foot in the door. But there's definitely, I definitely had teachers who were like, don't get an agent.
Right.
But for me, part of my Well, the reason I want to get an agent, two big reasons. There's this artist that I really admire who came and talked to our class one day, and he was basically like, my agent opened up so many doors for me that I couldn't have done on my own unless I'm going out and networking 24/7. You know what I mean? So I hate networking. I know it's required in most fields, but I hate networking. It's just not my shtick. So that's part of the reason too, is that first of all, being removed from New York now, I can't just go to an art gallery and talk about my work and go hand out a business card. You know,
Right.
and that's how a lot of this stuff is done. Like, a lot of it is just who you know, where you're meeting people, and I'm just not in that situation right now where I can just immerse myself in, like, the creative, illustrative world and get my connections going. And
Right.
I like agencies because it is, in a way, a validation, especially when you're a young artist starting off in a commercial world, and it's just so much more helpful to have a big-time agent, or not so big-time, whatever, pick you up. They have a nice book of illustrators, painters, what have you, and so now you're part of this person's portfolio of artists who have been in the New York Times, done stuff for GQ, so they get your name on the map. And that's not bad. And I wouldn't want to have an agent forever, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
most
definitely.
illustrators who are popular don't have agents because they've been doing it for 10 years, and they had the agent, for 3 to 5 years in the beginning. And then they drop them because now you have name recognition. And you know people already. You have connections. You have clients that want to work with you. They know your name. They're not going to go through an agency to get you. So it's really just to establish relationships and to get my foot in the door.
Okay. Yeah, no, I definitely understand. And with that mindset, I guess it's free to ask, if you would collaborate with artists, or if you already have collaborated with artists in the past. How do you really feel about that?
So I would definitely collaborate with artists. I mean, obviously we have to be on the same wavelength, and excuse me, I've in doing collaboration right now with my friend from New York, who's another illustrator, so it's not like a mixed media type of thing, so it's same discipline, which is illustration. But I've also done collaborations with my best friend who also went to FIT, photography major. We collaborated on her thesis, and I collaborated with people a couple times, mostly in college, but now I'm just doing, sticking with my friends, through who went to school for illustration. But yeah, no, I'm always open to it.
Okay. And I guess just to wrap it up, it's just, what are you really planning next? Well, I know Corona kind of threw everything off, but, on the fly and what you have thought out before, what do you really see for yourself going forward?
So my plan now for the foreseeable future is to just keep drawing and making work. It's the most productive thing I could do, and it makes me the happiest. So, I'm going to keep doing that, and then hopefully, get an agent, because luckily the internet is so empowering to most people that, someone can just shoot you an email or offer you a contract. So hopefully build up to that. And also, I recently got a tattoo apprenticeship. So that's like my dream come true.
Oh, nice.
One of many.
Yeah.
But, so that's obviously on hold. But when, COVID, everything starts to reopen, I'll go back to being an apprentice. And if everything works out, cross my fingers, I'll be a freelance illustrator and a tattoo artist.
Nice. And hopefully, that'll all wrap up by 2020, and then bigger things on for the future as far as 2021, everything like that. But I really do appreciate...
Dude. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. I really do appreciate your conversation a lot. Just drop everybody the social medias. Maybe you have a website, I don't know, Instagram, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, so my website is monetalyssa.com. That's MONETALYSSA.com. And I also have an Instagram, and it's just Monet_Alyssa.